Fox Sports NFL analyst Greg Jennings is now with us. Greg, you starting to think the Seahawks could actually deal Russell Wilson?
There is room for chance. I don't think it will happen this year, simply because this is an organization that has always had a plan going into every season. And unlike the Philadelphia Eagles, eating up all that dead cap money, or that dead money for Carson Wentz in that trade, I just don't see the Seattle Seahawks doing the same just to please Russell Wilson and then to get whatever they get in return. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't listen and field offers. Everyone's tradable, but there comes a point in time when you're trying to do something special. And as an organization, the Seattle Seahawks has always prided themselves into being a playoff team. And Russell Wilson gives them the best chance at doing that and repeating that success or stacking that success, if you will. And so regardless of how unhappy or what Russell Wilson's desires to have are, I believe that they will try to meet somewhere in the center and make a compromise to where Russell Wilson is getting what he feels he should get as far as the support from the organization. But by no means does that mean they're going to field all these offers and just say, yep, Russell, you can go wherever you want. We'll eat this dead cap. And no, that's not how it works in Seattle. That's never how it works in Seattle. And so for that reason and that reason alone, I don't see Russell Wilson in any other uniform this year other than the Seattle Seahawks uniform.
While I agree with your reasoning, G&J, I got to say it is more than possible that this could take place. Let's not forget the Jamal Adams trade. So they don't have a first-round draft pick in 21 and 22 draft. So if I can get me 3 first-round draft picks out of this situation, knowing that I have some young pieces in place, most notably DK Metcalf, if I would have to, I guess, hit the detonate button on rebuilding for the future for this Seattle Seahawks team, I don't see that being the worst decision ever if you get 3 first-round draft picks and have to figure it out this year, knowing that you unloaded the amount of money that's connected to Russell Wilson, and you're getting the opportunity to possibly replace it with either tradeaways, so you could get more picks off of those 1 picks, or you could get a player that can actually help transform your team. They hit with DK Metcalf. If you are able to trade for a quarterback that is serviceable until you develop a draftee, I look at it like it's more sensible actually where we're at right now, just purely based upon the position that possibly Russell Wilson put them in by making it public knowledge that he wanted more of a say, that he may not be totally happy with the decisions that are being made. So not based off of maybe their initial want, but what the given situation and scenario is that's present right now, I don't see it being egregious at all to see the Seattle Seahawks take a good, long, hard look at if they could get 3 first-round draft picks to not, entertain that.
I see it as egregious, LaVar.
Okay.
Unless Russell Wilson goes into their front office and says, I want to be traded, trade me, then they shouldn't even be thinking about trading Russell Wilson. They have got a franchise quarterback, a future Hall of Fame quarterback, a Super Bowl winning quarterback who's 32 years old. And they're thinking about trading him? That's ridiculous. All right, when was there? They have a better chance of improving the offensive line, of improving the defense than they do of getting another franchise quarterback. You know when their last franchise quarterback was? Before
Never.
Russell? Oh, there wasn't
Jim
one.
Zorn.
Unless you consider Jim Zorn a franchise quarterback. That's how long it takes. And now you have him. This guy can be there for the next 10 years. And here's what Seattle has to fight against. Complacency. Because I think part of Russ's frustration is that he feels like they're complacent. They're satisfied just being relevant. Just being a perennial playoff team in the hunt. And they know that they've got these awesome fans who, as long as you're 10-6 11-5, 12-4 every now and then, and thought of as a Super Bowl contender, those fans are going to be there in droves, and they're going to be raucous. But Russ is saying, no, I'm not satisfied, and I don't want us to be satisfied. So they should not be thinking about trading Russell Wilson. Yeah, you can get your 3 first-round picks, but is that going to guarantee you a franchise quarterback?
Can I ask a question?
Build around him.
Can I ask y'all a question? I want to jump in on y'all, and I want to ask y'all this question. We look at Russell Wilson, and no doubt he is a franchise quarterback, undoubtedly. But when you look at the most success that this team has had, and when they were dominant as a team,
I know what's coming.
You did not need a franchise quarterback to operate that team. You needed a guy who could hand the ball off, and you needed to watch your defense. You needed to not hurt your team because your defense was going to win the games for you, and your running game was going to make it easier for your quarterback to make serviceable throws. And if they made just halfway decent decisions, if Russell Wilson made halfway decent decisions, they were going to be fine because their running game was so significantly strong. So I ask you, if I could recreate that, and I look at what you did to get Jamal Adams, says to me that you're thinking about what you had in the old days. Trying to bring in the running backs that you brought in, Hyde and those guys in the offseason, it says to me that you're thinking about going back to that old formula. I don't think that's egregious. You got to tell me, like, J-Mac, Chris?
Hold on. Spoken like a true defensive player,
Well,
giving all the credit to the Legion of Boom.
It's just the truth.
By the way, Tom Brady torched them in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, up and down the field twice for touchdowns. Nevertheless,
and still
you
should have
cannot move on from Russell Wilson. Greg, I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised. You played with Aaron Rodgers. You saw what y'all had with Brett Favre. Green Bay has had franchise quarterbacks for, 30 years now. My Jets never had one, okay? You lose Russell Wilson in Seattle, good luck finding another one. Look at Miami. Dan Marino leaves. Franchise quarterback, great there for 15 years. They can't find anybody. 20 years running, the Dolphins can't find a franchise quarterback. A couple things in life, when you find a great one, you just hold on. Find a great wife. You gotta do everything to keep her. You find a good barber. Look at LaVar's hair. Look at money today, by the way, okay? You hold on to it. You find a franchise quarterback. Greg Jennings, you do not let him out the door. I don't want 4 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. He's untouchable. Bye.
Wow.
Talk to the hand. I'm hanging up the phone. There's no deal.
Wow.
I'm not giving up Russell Wilson. No way.
That's not reality.
Well, yeah, you're right, LaVar. That is not reality. That's not reality. But for me, and I don't think it's egregious. I'm not saying that it would that's the case at all.
These basketball dudes, man. Thank you very much.
However, I just don't believe that is as easy and as simple as we make it appear.
No, I agree with that.
Make it sound.
I agree with that.
Like there's to Jason's point, like you can't go out and just find a Russell Wilson. I'm not talking to Russell Wilson that we see to date. I'm talking to Russell Wilson that we saw coming out of college. The Russell Wilson that has the type of character, the type of leadership skills, the type of ability to where he can just hold down the fort until he comes to the point where he's mature in his ability. It's not as easy as we make it seem. And then when you talk about them trying to go back to what garnered their success or what rendered them some success early in his career, the Legion of Boom, let's not discredit how special those individuals were. And that we think that they're easy to find. Like, I get it, LaVar, you can find some great quality guys, but a shutdown corner like Richard Sherman is hard to find. Teams just don't have that guy. Even safeties, as great as Jamal Adams is, he's not what Earl Thomas was for that team. He's just not.
Well, give
They're
it some
completely
time.
different players.
I hear you. And I mean, Earl Thomas needs a Cam Chancellor. So, I mean, it plays back. So I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But, again, I just will say this. All those things given, I understand. But this is a very interesting stat. In NFL history, no one has been sacked more in their first 9 seasons than Russell Wilson. If that doesn't give you grounds for pause to actually entertain it, if I can get 3 first-rounders knowing that there's a possibility that one of these hits, It happened to one of the most elusive, greatest running quarterbacks of all time, and Mike Vick. It takes one time to get hit. Look at what happened to RG3. It takes one time to get hit. And then you know what happens? All that value goes away. And you're sitting there like, yeah, I did have Russ in the hand. But man, I had 3 in the bush that I could have had. And I held on to the one that was in the hand because of all this reasoning y'all giving. I just don't think it's egregious to think it through and maybe get 3 first-round draft picks for Russell Wilson. I think that's sensible. That's all I'm saying.
MVP in October, we're trading him in February.
LaVar,
Coming up
we didn't
next.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.